guys, I'm going to be doing another example in chapter 12, which, let's see what we're going to do here. Here's the example. Sorry, here it is. We have chapter 12, number 5, in the simulation chapter. After clicking on Ask Your Instructor, you end up with the following question. We have a small candy store making Valentine's Day gift boxes that cost $12.75 and sell for $19. If you make too many, you're going to lose because it costs you a few dollars to make the box. If you make too few, you're going to lose. You're going to lose out on the potential profit. So again, with a relatively simple example like this, you could probably solve it analytically, meaning coming up with some formula. But we're going to do it by a simulation, which is great when you have a really complicated situation. So the only thing that's really uncertain is how many boxes the demand. And the demand follows what's called a triangular distribution that goes from 40 to 50, and the most likely value is 47. So if you plug in the right numbers into the formula, you'll get, the computer will pick out data like 43, 49, 46, 47. It's going to pick out numbers of the demand. Of course, there has to be a whole number. And therefore, once you have the demand, you could calculate the profit, and then basically you try all the different values from 40 to 50, and you can get the whichever one gave you the highest average profit is the one to use. So, question: here's the data, which we're going to plug into Excel. But before we do that, let's go back out. Let's answer the book's question. So instead of asking you to create the simulated data, which would be quite challenging and also very educational, they give you the simulation, they give you the results, but they want you to do a little bit of thinking about how this is set up. And they say the following: into the selling price, the cost, the discount price, which is half of the, which is the price you'll sell it for, all that you can't sell before. Into cells B6, 7, and 8. Then put in the demand, the purchase price, quantity sold, surplus quantity into 12, 13, 14, and 15, just to help you organize it. So if you do that, and I've done it over here somewhere, is the data in the selling prices in B6. Well, really, it's B because it's just the name of it, but it's going to be the number, or the formula will be here. The cost is in B7, etc. All right. Now, when you set up the Monte Carlo simulation, if you would do it, again, we're not doing it, to figure out the quantity sold, it's the minimum between B12 and B13, because you either have a demand and you have your order quantity. If your demand is bigger than the order quantity, you can only sell as much as the demand. If you have a demand of 100, but you made 110, you can only sell 100. If you made 90 and the demand is 100, you can still only sell 90 because you only made 90. So it's the minimum of B12 and B13. The surplus is all that you didn't sell. So if you sold this amount and the demand is such and such, you take the amount that you sold, the order quantity, take away the demand, that's going to be your leftover. So let's say this is, you made 90, but you only have a demand of 80. So 90 minus 80 is 10. So it's going to be B13 minus B12. But what if it turns out that the demand is larger than the order quantity? Okay, so in other words, let's say B13 minus B12 is a negative number. Well, you can't have a negative surplus. So it's then in that case, it's going to be zero. So it's going to turn out to be the larger of either zero or B13 minus B12. That's why this is the right answer here. And the profit finally is you multiply the quantity sold by B6. B6, remember, is the selling price, which in this case was $19. So B16 times B6 plus B16, I'm sorry, B15 times B6, where's B15? Quantity sold times the selling price. And B16, if you recall, was a surplus, which again was calculated over here. The surplus times the surplus price, that's going to be half B8. That's the discount price. It's going to be half of the selling price. Minus your cost. Well, how many did you make? B13 is how many you made. B7 is the cost for each item. You multiply those two and you subtract that cost from the money coming in to calculate your profit. So all this is the explanation for why this is the right answer for this particular part of it. Now comes the Excel part of it. Let's go back to here. We did. So we open the data file. We want the average. It's called, these are the means of these columns. So equals the average of these numbers. Remember, 40 is simply a, it should be A2. What do I do? How to get the A2 through A21? A1 is just a category heading. Okay, and we take this number and drag it over. We get averages for everybody, and then we figure out the max. And we want to figure out which simulation, which assumption of how much you're going to make is equal to the max of columns B23 through K23. That comes out to 279.5, and that's right here. It's only one of them, 279.5, and that's 47. So the answer to the question, after all is said and done, is 47 gives you, on the average, the best, that's the optimal amount to produce if you were running this company. That will give you the most profit most of the time. Okay, that's it. Bye now.